Welcome to the Apex Insiders podcast. We got the Push to Cash Sonsio Grand Prix preview, betting preview, GridRival preview. We got Nathan here with us. What's going on, man?
Just living the dream here in Indianapolis. Another ridiculous Pacers win. I know this is the Indycar podcast, but it's been a fun run. If you don't like watching the Pacers, then they just must be kicking your favorite team's ass because it's been a lot of fun watching them play. I'm gonna hang up my IMS flag here when we get done to really put the stamp on the house for May too. So
Yeah, this is a big month, especially since we bring up the Pacers. 66-1 when we did a podcast on Acura Long Beach. That's definitely down to probably even less. I saw yesterday 33-1. I did bet them to win the conference 9-1. I think 9-1 or 10-1. So I'm in. I needed to get something in there. I needed something in there. So but let's get back to the cars, the vroom vrooms. And quite honestly, I have not been watching much basketball. I've been in hockey mode. Just me right now, Dallas Stars and everything playoffs. So
playoff hockey is an awesome thing too.
Yeah, it's just tough because you want to watch. I want to watch these games, like all these hockey games, but then I want to watch the basketball games. So I'm trying to flip through, and it's just hockey is more of I like that more than basketball.
For sure.
Yeah. But cars on track this weekend, IMS. I love this track. I love the road course for Indy. And yes, and following that, we have lots of activity for Indy 500. So it's going to be a busy month of racing all together. So I'm super pumped about the month of May. And the weather's great. So I don't know. Sun's out, no rain. It's been raining all week here in Dallas. So, but yeah, let's talk about IMS. So the race, actually all the activity is technically on Friday. It sounds like warm up on Saturday, race later in the afternoon around, you said 4:30 Eastern, I think, or something like that. So yeah, 2 days really, and then right into Indy 500. So let's dive into your preview and go from there.
Okay, yeah, they let the cars drive the wrong way this week before they flip it around and start going the correct way around the track. But it is a cool road course. It's one that the drivers in the field have probably the most experience of any other track when you consider that they've had a doubleheader here many years, that Indy Next and the feeder series are going to run here several times a year, and then a lot of testing happens here, so all the drivers are really familiar with the track, and so sometimes we see some of these younger drivers really standing out, and even some of the guys coming over from Europe are immediately comfortable with this track. It's a 2.4 mile, 14 turn track with two pretty good passing zones at the end of the long straights on the front, on the beginning of the lap, and the mid part of the lap down the back straight, essentially, of IMS. We've got a 16 race history here. Honda has won the last 5 off of Ganassi winning the last 3 and Andretti winning the 2 before that. And then prior to those 5 races, Chevy actually took 9 of 10. So it was a long, good run for Chevy, and now Honda has kind of conquered this place. Penske has won half of these, 8 of 16. Will Power has 5 of those. He's got the most wins of any active driver. 7 active drivers, I believe it was, here have a win at this track. So a good field spread out there, people claiming victories. The pole winner has won this race 16 times, but when Pelot did it last year, it was actually the first driver in 7 races to do it, so it had been a little while. Dixon won 2023 on a ridiculous fuel save. which we were talking about in the Discord a little bit. A lot of us had a good Ray Hall tickets there that were going to just be monster, but Dixon pulled another one out of his ass like he does. And Herta won in 2022 in a pretty cool, like heavy rain race. He's got that kind of famous like drifting around the turn to like end up making the pass on a Ward, I think it was. But when you take out those two guys winning from 14th and 15th, the average starting position of the winner is just as low as 3. So a lot of people winning from the front. When you take out Dixon, Herta, and one other driver claimed a podium position in that rain race, we take out those 3. In the last 9 races, we haven't had a podium finish come from outside 9th place, which is pretty insane. A lot of people are claiming these spots. They're qualifying well, and then they're staying up there. So new to this year, Indycar has decided that the drivers have to run 2 stints on both the primary and the alternates. Only one set of alternates has to be new. And then Connor Daly also mentioned this week, instead of giving them 5 and 5 of the tire splits for the whole weekend, it's going to be 5 primaries and 4 alternates. So surface level, I don't like either of those moves. We've already seen people this year really wanting to save their tires with the extra pit stops, and the practice sessions have become the time lengths are the same, but drivers aren't getting as many laps. Herta's done it almost every Friday. He sits there and waits for the first 30 minutes. And just from, the fact that people watching, like, Herta's one of the fastest drivers out there. Like, we want to see Colton Herta in laps on the track and seeing how fast he can go, measuring up to other people. So that's one reason I don't love it. But I just don't know. I appreciate IndyCar trying something to maybe fix road course racing, but I don't know that this will be it. I'll keep an open mind. But I don't know. What do you think about that?
Yeah,
That
no,
move?
I mean it's huge impact. Like you said, I'm kind of torn because yes, I do want to see a little bit more action. This creates that variable that we're kind of all looking for, but it feels synthetic, I guess you can say,
Yeah.
right? Like it just doesn't feel natural to do it. You're just trying to plug in a patch to say we can make it better. But at the flip side, it's like what you're saying. It's, well, now they're not going to get enough practice time. Now they're going to change things up just because they couldn't fix something else to make the racing product better. So that's the first place they point. And yeah, I let's see, right? Like I'm accepted of it. Like, let's see. I
Sure.
am a little nervous about that too, because that does change things of how like I take approaches this weekend. Like some things are like, well, now some of these rookies or the younger drivers, how are they actually going to perform with these tires? It makes me want to go back and do a little bit more research on some of the past 2 races. Let's just take and say, who were the ones that were actually struggling as the stints were going along? Because those are the guys you want to really fade in a race versus, we may have seen their full potential if they were allowing them to have more strategy within the pits and getting new tires. And yeah, so overall, just doesn't feel, it's synthetic approach. And I hope that they find something different than this. And I don't even know, was this just this race? I take it they're not doing that for the Indy 500, but is this like I didn't read of anything like this is going to be an ongoing thing.
Initially, I thought it was just for this race. But then I also heard that they might have mandated for the rest of the road and street courses with the option to pull it at any point. So I guess it's going to be like a wait and see.
Yeah.
Connor Daly mentioned on his podcast that he thinks it's going to be really tough for them because some of those smaller teams, they struggle to find that balance. He said they're really good on the alternate tire, but they struggle in primary.
Yeah.
So their strategy most races is going to be, let's get off the primaries and let's get to our strengths. But when IndyCar is basically requiring you to put on your weakness, it's not going to be good for them. He talked to Alex Palou about it, and he wasn't really for it either, just as far as he doesn't think it's going to improve the racing product. If people kind of come up with the same consensus of when they want to run each tire, which it won't be exactly that through the field, but if you've got the people that you want to see battling going to the pits and they're making the exact same tire choices around the exact same time, then we're not going to get that passing. And then no one's also going to be running like full fuel stints, or they're not going to be running their tires down to the point where people can make moves on them because they're struggling. Like people are just going to run and then get off the tires and run, and it could be good action or it could just be a procession around the track.
Honestly, it's not good. I don't think it'll do anything with the actual race itself. It's just a mind game with your strategy. That's it. Because like you said, it's just going to be a lot of hell. I mean, maybe Dixon does do better this weekend because he's like, well, let me just qualify high enough and just take it easy throughout the race. He's the god of saving everything. Palou the same way. So it's just, let's see, right? I did say in the Discord, I'm like, I feel like this is the weekend we get the yellow flag. I don't know how many times, but this is the weekend. I think we do get it. And then, yes, throw in the fact that these tires and everything might shake it up a little bit. We'll see. But yeah, let's wait and see. But with that being said, the odds are dropping, although I haven't seen anything outside of just outrights in top 3 so far on my end.
Yeah, Caesar's dropped some really interesting combos for like top 3, top 5, and top 10, which I don't ever really recommend taking combo top 3s or top 5s, because when you think about if you need 2 or 3 drivers to finish in the top 5, and that means you're trying to guess 60% of a top 5, like that's extremely hard to do. But when it gets in those top 10s, I thought those were pretty interesting. I hope they release those and I can kind of dive into those more. If I get to pick some of the best drivers to take 20 to 30% of the top 10, then that's much more manageable. But yeah, other than that, I think we don't really have matchups yet. Caesars does have one group out there randomly, but they're all kind of that equal field of like Herta, Dixon, Newgarden, Kirkwood, maybe, I think is the group. So
yeah, I'm not seeing these top 5. I hate Caesar sites.
They pulled them. They had them up for about 30 minutes to an hour, and I was kind of writing some stuff down, thinking it through, and then they were just gone. Apparently, they had some weirdly priced things, and I guess they just gave up on it after maybe a couple of people found those. But
well, I'll tell you what, this Lundgaard line on Caesars that's exactly where I thought the line should be. And I know Maxwell was messaging like DK has it for. Oh, they dropped it. Everyone's moving to 5-1. Okay.
Wow.
So yeah, yesterday he saw 9-1 and he was trying to throw money on it. And I was like, you should be taking that. Like that is one of the guys I'm highest on this weekend. Like he's just an absolute unit here. And then the RLL just in the past, and he still won the race 2 years ago, I think it was.
He hasn't won here yet,
or really he qualified. He qualified.
Yeah,
first.
He got a pole here. I think
got a pole here, and one of my memories of this place is when Herta almost lost it when he put on the slicks when it was still kind of wet. Yeah. I will never forget him recovering from that. I was like, oh my God, that was a brown pants moment. And he recovered from that. That was insane.
That was like a cool moment. I mean, he drove essentially 2 laps on ice. His like every turn he was hitting, he was just sliding everywhere, but he held on to it. And that just shows like the talent he actually has. I mean, there's so many mistakes and all these things that he does throughout a season where you're just like, Laherta,
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Laherta, man, he's our Leclerc for that.
But he's got it. I mean, he's got it. He's got the talent for sure.
Yeah, but going back to Lundgaard, I was like, if I'm gonna take anyone for outrights, like I really do like his chances. I know we say that, and then it's like Palou is just gonna win. I'm sure he might win,
Yeah,
but yeah, I
I
just
stared at that Lundgaard number. I didn't move on it, even though I really like him too. But I guess I'm just like feeling like I want to save up to be ready
yeah.
to take below.
Well, I will say this: I just logged into XBet, and they still have it at 8-1. So I mean, I'm gonna throw something. I hate doing that. I
Yeah,
said from now on, I'm. For me, it's going to be wait and see kind of thing because one, it's been kind of challenging to know what's really happening outside of Palou's domination. And we talked about that in the last podcast where, we're still like, what's going on with Joseph Newgarden? And, we're still seeing some weird volatility with these drivers. We're used to always being Dixon is another one, right? Like these
yeah.
guys used to be like fighting for top 3, top 5, and you're not hearing about them as much throughout these races. So I will throw on Lundgaard, but he's an absolute unit here. And I know on GridRival, I should have just taken it when I saw it. He was at 5.5.
Oh wow, I didn't
And
see that.
I saw it. I was like, let me do this one. I should do this one. And we'll get into GridRival in a little bit. But yeah, I mean, he's really got some good potential, especially being in an Aero McLaren, which should do fine here. I think it will be, I think it's definitely going to be competing better than the Andretti's. That's my opinion, though. So, and then Pato will be like P15.
Yeah, I haven't placed a bet yet, but part of me is wanting to give Pato one more chance here. He's at 10-1,
I
and
know.
I know Thermal was months ago. That was only also a couple races ago, and he put it on pole, and he didn't lose to Lundgaard there. He lost to Palou, which everyone's been doing. So if I'm not able to get on a good Lundgaard number, that's probably the next place I'm going is Pato. He's been really good here. The team's good here. Pato has seemed to fallen off a little bit of late, but I'm probably going to be doing it. So I think that's where I'm at on the outrights. I'm going to save room for Palou. I'm going to hope he does not get the pole here, and then maybe we can get him. He can stay at that. 2-1 would be nice though, Palou. That's kind of hard to get these days, but
Yeah, I'm waiting and see. I really am, but I think some of the things another guy. So when I was really getting into IndyCar, I would say more so like after COVID is when I was really getting more into it. Rinus VeeKay, man, one of my fondest memories was him dominating here. It was like 2021 or something. I can't remember.
I think I had that 40-1 for his win.
Me too. Awesome. I had that, and that was one of my biggest wins with IndyCar, or like longest shots I've won with IndyCar. And I am a fan of his. I've always been a fan of his. If someone ever asked me, like, outside of like being a fan of Aero McLaren, like who's your team or who's your driver, I kind of grasped always to Rinus VeeKay. And that being said, I think he's going to do just fine here. I mean, he loves this place. He loves this track. I mean, I think if he were to get a better ride, he would probably be up there in terms of like, top 5, more consistent than obviously what he's been through.
I've always wanted to see Rinus and maybe an Andretti or Ganassi car.
Yeah.
To see what he could do, especially like meshing like a Ganassi or VeeKay at the 500 or something where he's had awesome qualifying runs with that Carpenter like they always do, but maybe Ganassi could deliver them that better race car. And some people have said that, Rinus's mistakes a lot of times probably come from trying to overdrive a car that just isn't there, and his talent is like above the car. I mean, a lot of drivers speak pretty highly of him. And I did just place a GridRival play on him. So whenever we
I
want to move
saw
to
that. We should get into that because that specific one I was eyeing yesterday to go with. I believe I was like looking at, because I did like your Seagull worse after it reminded me that the tire situation. I was like, oh, that's a guy that I think will fall from his spot because of the tire impacts. We didn't really see him improve in the last race, so I watched him throughout and he just couldn't beat anyone. So I expect him to fall out, but it has since been bumped literally to 13 and a half. So you got a good number of 14 and a half.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just played it like 20 minutes ago.
I know. And I was like loading up and I was like, ooh, he's in on Renus. Also, I should get in on that and do the card I wanted to do. Oh, shit. It's already 13 and a half, which
he was on Connor Daly's podcast. I was listening to it today at work, which I'd kind of seen that number, but I was a little wary of Del Coyne. And Renus obviously said he likes this track. He's won here. We know that part, but he said that he feels like there's good similarities to Barber, and that gave me a little confidence that the team will help him deliver. We don't need a top 5 again.
Yeah.
With that, we're just looking for basically a top 15. So I like that number.
Yeah, I'm actually the reason why I haven't done more than 2 cars, which I was like, let me wait till quali. I want quali to come out, and that's when I'm going to really be firing off, and then then we'll do some more cards. But yeah, so your card, just to announce the one that he just did, which was Kirkwood worse than 7.5 and Renus 14.5. It has since been bumped. I'm debating if I still want to do it at 13.5, but I said I'm going to be patient. But if you're an impatient person, I do still think 13.5 is fine. Like I still do. But considering we still have more to come, right? This week.
Yeah. I will say this is a track where some of the bigger teams don't have like fully strong weekends. Like Penske, Power's normally pretty good here, and then maybe Newgarden or McLaughlin. It's never like a team full thing. Andretti too, they've struggled here, which I think you were on the Kirkwood worst play on another card.
100%. Yeah.
He's never gotten the top 10 in this race, and we're looking at working 7.5. So I think that's a pretty good number. I think he's only made the Fast 6 once. And even though Herta's won here, he's been up and down. So that's why I think there is room for some of these drivers that we know. Like there was always room for Lundgaard when he was at RLL, because for whatever reason, it's just even Ganassi, thinking about Dixon and Ericsson when he was there, like they would never have a full weekend of all their drivers putting it together. Some of these guys finished 15 to 20th for whatever reason, and I think the door's open for VK.
Yeah, no, 100%. And your other card, which is funny because I was staring at Rossi. I'm like, okay, fine. That's it. I'm done fading the guy.
Yeah.
I was like, we should be taking him 9.5. And then you played the card. I was like, yeah, okay, I'm doing it. So I'm glad you were on the same page of my mindset, because I was like, fuck. I mean, he's good here, right? Like he's done pretty strong in the past here. So we do know and then hearing that comment on the podcast you were just mentioning, saying there's similarities between Barber, that makes me more inclined to say, okay, he did really well here. Let's then back him and at this race. And Ed Carpenter seems to do fine here as well. Just, I mean, nothing like
the win.
Not fancy, but they feel they get it, I guess, at this track for sure.
I think Connor Daly even delivered a top 5 when he was there, which the road course is not his strength. I don't remember that Rossi's had 5 or 6 straight top 10s here. He won a few years ago, but yeah, I think we're 0-3 maybe this year fading Rossi, so maybe it's time to,
well, I think maybe one time, but then since the past 2 or 3, it's not been good. I'm done fading him. So let's
Yeah.
just back him and see what happens. But yeah, you did Siegel worse, which I'm all in line with. I think that he's done a very good job here the past few races and everything, but tires, right? I think the tire situation is going to be an impact to him, and we'll see. Maybe he does qualify better than we expect, and that kind of ruins the 13.5. But it seems kind of high. Like when I look at Grid Rival 2, we got to think about the spots they're kind of being placed, because normally with just any pick'ems, racing pick'ems, they're going to bundle these guys in that like area. So like 10.5, 13.5, right? Or 14.5. Something's going to have to give, right? And whether that's one spot, two spots, same with the guys above. So that's why, like Kirkwood, when I was looking at it, I was like, one, he hasn't done well here for me to say I can easily take him over, but it's crowded, right? You got the Penske's, you got Chip Ganassi, you've got the Arrow McLarens. That right there could be 6 drivers that's taking up that spot. Herta 7, right? Where does that leave Kirkwood? Definitely out of there. You should be taking him. He was not going any higher. That's the ceiling. Take the worst. I did Kirkwood with Malukas though. I might be playing with fire because, and again, my rationale is like he hasn't proven it much this season and in past at this track to give me confidence. Is he going to really stay in 15.5? That's going to be a crowded spot. So I felt like Worse was a way to go on this one, especially with AJ Foyt. So what do you think?
Yeah, I agree. We haven't seen anything from Malukas this year. He'll have some decent practice sessions, but then Saturdays and Sundays he just not really making an impact. Ferrucci's beaten him most races, I think. Yeah, I mean, I think he'll get better as the season goes on, but he seems to kind of be struggling to adjust to switching over to the Chevy engine and a new team.
Yeah, so I'll take that. Let's kind of go through some of the others here. So, well, Lundgaard is at 4.5 still. So if you're really feeling frisky and you think he's going to get into the top 3, that is your play. Will Power's been bumped to 3.5 now, which is kind of surprising to me, given like I know he likes it here, but Penske's I'm still nervous about backing them on anything right now. Like I'm still having a hard time grasping them, although Scott had a really good race last race. So
yeah, and I don't think I'd almost lean worse on that, even though I do think Power might have been the best Penske car last weekend. I just don't think his team gave him a chance to show that. While I am thinking of my place before we get into the other ones, it probably would have been better for a better correlation to put the VK and the Siegel to better. It's almost a head-to-head matchup there.
Pretty much.
Then the Kirkwood and the Rossi together, because those are almost more like a head-to-head. I was just in 2 different places as I was, in my mind as I'm making those plays, and now I'm thinking about it. I mean, those are almost direct head-to-heads, and I like those better. So if you're listening and you're about to make the plays, I'd say that would be more of a better direction.
What about in quali? If we get the quali lines, let's just say they get subtracted by 1 spot. So, or Kirkwood's still at 7.5, Rossi at 8.5. We still got to take Rossi over and it better with Kirkwood worse. It feels like maybe, but 8.5 is kind of a stretch. So.
Yeah, I don't, because Rossi's done a good job with moving up through these races, though.
Yeah,
he's been one of the better drivers of like just doing quick stints where he's actually making moves, and so my confidence in him isn't more that he's going to qualify up there and keep it up there, but more that he oftentimes finds himself in that like 13 to 15, like the little mopey interview he does after qualifying of how he just missed the top 12, and then he'll move himself into the top 10 by the end of race day. So I would maybe I'm feeling like I would avoid Rossi in a qualifying play, but I do like him for the race day.
Yeah, another one I did like was Marcus Ericsson. Unfortunately, you can't combine teammates because I was like, oh, maybe I just do a 3-card one. And I was like, I'll do Ericsson, Worse, with Kirkwood, Worse, and then I think it was going to be, I actually was looking at VK. I was looking at Lundgaard at 4.5 before after it got bumped. So then I was like, nah, let me go a different direction. So
I don't think Ericsson's ever really been like an impact driver here. Like he's never had a really good run. He's never been in the mix that I can think of going back like probably 8+ races. He's just this isn't really his track. It seems like.
What about our man Felix?
I don't know. I had a $10 free bet sitting in my MGM account, and I put it on Felix to win at 35-1. For a free bet, I liked it, but I don't know where Meyer Shank's at. Marcus Armstrong had a top 5 in this race last year, so I think they may have something, and they'll go off what Ganassi has too. So I could see a good weekend for Meyer Shank again, but maybe I just need to build my confidence back up in Felix after last week.
Honestly, after your comment, I kind of feel like Felix Worse might be a play this weekend. Given, let me go back and see, because he did seem shaky. I don't remember if he actually did well here. I'm staring at his.
He's put it on pole before, but I think he fell back. He had a top 5 in the last couple races, I believe.
He did. I believe in him. I'm just like, so, and he was in a Meyer Shank or in what's it called? Wasn't he with Chip Ganassi in 2023? Was it Chip Ganassi or Andretti?
I think he would have been with McLaren at that time.
Or the McLaren. I'm sorry, McLaren. Yeah. I was getting my guys mixed up. So he was with McLaren, and let's see how he did. Let's go back. Grand Prix of Indianapolis. When he was with McLaren, he was okay. He qualified top 2 though, but then after that he fell back to 5th. So I feel like that's still has been his common theme with some of the. If he qualifies higher, he's always just going to fall back. But I don't know. I'm not going to touch it. To your point, like, I am not a fan of wanting to fade him after just one bad or I wouldn't say bad race, but it wasn't really his greatest weekend, let's just say. So
if I get a qualifying play of Pato to make the Fast 6, I think I do like that. He's made the Fast 6. I think this looks like maybe 7 of the last 8. The last 6 for sure. He's put it on pole last year, but his pole was a few years back. But he's made the Fast 6 steadily, and that's why I kind of like him this week for at least a podium, because I think he's really consistent of getting the Fast 6 here, and then the numbers favor those people up front to get the podium. So I think there's a place for him. Penske's a little weaker here overall, and Andretti is too. So I think that opens the door for Pato. I know a lot of people are off on him right now, which is fair, but
which is unfortunate. I got stung by him doing his top 3 last week, thinking he was going to do well here. But I am looking at. I am considering. Man, I forgot Jack Harvey got into the top 4. What are we doing there? I am considering, I think, fading Scotty in qualifying. I think that's one player. If he's especially at 4.5, if he's at 4.5, I'm fading him. So that might be a pair for me. Is like Pato better with, assuming it's like 6.5. Maybe I'd do 5.5, but Scotty, I think I'm going to fade for qualifying. I think
Hopefully,
so.
Grid Rivals turned off our episode by now.
Yeah. Should we? We're gonna have to turn this on to like private because they're definitely listening. So that's definitely what I'm thinking about. Okay, well, I feel like God, Ray Hall is at 12.5. I do not want to touch that, but I don't know if I could go any better, but you never know, right? He could maybe just stick it in the top 10 for all we know. So
I did. I found Ray Hall at 80-1 today on MGMs.
you did.
I put a couple dollars on that. Yeah. So
let me see. I might have to
just to ruin my account health or something.
Let me see. What is he? Ray Hall is 60-1 on XBet. So it's a good number. I don't know if I'm going to say I'm going to be rooting for you just because that means Ray Hall would have to win, but so
yeah, I don't have much faith in Grandma anymore. So
yeah. What about Armstrong? Let's get to this guy. Armstrong is at 10.5, and it kind of gives me feeling that like, do we really think he's going to get into the top 10 with all these good drivers? I mean, not saying he's a bad driver, but
Armstrong has been killing me this year. I do like a full season IndyCar fantasy league with a few of my friends, and I drafted him. And then also I've been playing him in GridRival on the fantasy league. I've been putting him as my start driver for the double points. I've been betting on him in these group matchups, and he somehow still won his matchup last week versus Ericsson, even despite him sitting in the pits for
I backed it. And I mean, I like betting Armstrong. I've been successful with him, but I don't know what to think this weekend about him.
He's kind of like he's got this like Ericsson thing of last year and the like a Rosenquist type thing where he's showing all this potential qualifying up there. 50 laps of the race, you're like, yes, that's the Armstrong guy I'm betting on. And then something happens, whether it's his mistake or a team mistake, and it's just been painful so far this year. But I'm a believer in him.
I mean, he did fine last year. He just feels kind of inconsistent this year in a way, I guess. I mean,
which I thought I could like lean on him for that. His rookie year, what he did do any ovals, but I don't think he missed a lap. I don't think he had a single incident or anything his rookie year on like the 14 races or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And then now, like last year, he had several incidents. This year, he's already had a couple instances where he's fallen off. So I don't love it.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll probably have some more if you get into our Discord. Go to Sonsio GP or just go to the Indy Car Race Hub. We're always chatting. Maxwell is probably the guy in our Discord for anything odds wise, specifically for F1 and IndyCar, since that's what our majority is. He is a sniper, man. I love him. I love that I don't know how he does it too. Like it's like he has some alert that just tells him like lines have dropped, and he's like immediately in our Discord.
I think he's got people on the inside or something.
Man. Just, yeah. But keep it up. Whatever you're doing, keep it up. I love it. Let's talk about fantasy though. I actually was setting up my fantasy league over a break today, and so I had two drivers that just rolled off because the next race, Indy 500, I'm sorry. So I have some targets for that.
Yeah.
I've been eyeing as two of my guys, Renas for one race, just for this race, and we'll try to pick someone up for the oval next week. So I'm strategically trying to place these things around the Indy 500. And Graham Rahal, 14.6 million. The only reason why I hate these two is because Renus already jumped up 2 million in value, while Rahal also jumped up at 1.4 million. I feel like I'm chalking to it, but I'm trying to fill in with, like, I got to make up some spots, and those are, I needed cheap guys, I guess you could say. And then I had signed Lundgaard as my, actually I had three, I'm sorry, and Lundgaard as my third. So I'm only doing him for this race because typically he's going to struggle in ovals, Indy 500. So that was my purpose for that, because I might go back to Lundgaard after Indy 500. So.
Right. Yeah. I haven't thought about this, but if you need a really cheap driver just for one race, DeFrancesco may be that guy. I don't know if people remember that ridiculous move he made on the start when he randomly started up front.
Yeah.
And like passed like 4 cars in one move, and then he fell off after that. But he's been okay here, and then his team is decent here. So, or even Foster again. I mean, I guess he went off track last week, but he
had a good qualifying. Yeah, he's doing really well. Actually, his race will, like, pace will get better. He's rookie, right? But the fact that he's up in the timesheets, always in free practice, qualifying pretty well too, shows he has a lot of promise. I can see him, if he keeps this up, he can definitely get there. So he just needs to get his racecraft, and he'll be there. Ferrucci actually is locked for me because I was purposely saving him as one of my cheap guys for the Indy 500. But I do like that play if you needed a guy.
I almost feel like the AJ Foy team doesn't even care about this race. Like, they're so hype about the 500 because that's where they really got good.
Right?
Like, I think maybe it was last year, Ferrucci, his engine kind of blew or whatever, and he was like, yeah, whatever. I'm just looking forward to next week. Like, I don't know,
they knew they weren't going to, like, really do anything here. Let's just focus on the bigger prize. So,
yeah. Then, I mean, I feel like once you go up, like, Lundgaard is a great play just for one race. Pato, if you want to extend that from this race into the 500, would be a good play. Even Rossi there in the middle of the pack, kind of. You could take him for a couple races if you think ECR is going to be strong. But yeah, other than that, I had built up enough nice, like, salary over a few races that I just threw Polo on all my teams. Now I've been moving up the standings a little bit. So
I really should do that. I mean, I could really rework everything and just put Polo, set and forget, just do him for 5 races. But I was like, well, maybe I should just wait until after the Indy 500 to do it. Maybe he does decrease in value because he is at 30.2 million. So
yeah, it's definitely not a driver where I think your salary is going to go up. But
you get the
points. The points. I guess that's what matters really, because I've been doing fine on the salary, but I haven't been getting the points.
Well, maybe.
Pelosi actually. We'll talk about this when we get into the Indy 500, but there's, like, some chatter and a lot of reports of how strong he was. Maybe the strongest car at the test.
Okay.
So a guy to look out for. I've actually gotten kind of close to placing a wager on him for the 500. As some books have left him quite a bit higher than others have.
You might have sold me. I'm reworking it. If I were to so I'm stuck.
Because then you have Detroit. I think you have Detroit Street course after the 500, so Polo's fine there.
Yeah, and
then I think I think Gateway's after that, so a little more weakness for Polo on the shorter ovals, but so maybe a 3 race. I think maybe that's what I did on mine for when I took Polo as a good 3 race Yeah, I actually picked him up last week and did a 4-race contract there.
Yeah, so I would be stuck. So I removed Ray Hall. I got Pillow. That would leave me with 9.7 million, which puts me in. I already have Siegel, which is really, it's worked out really well for me. I guess I could just
Maybe Rasmussen or
Foster for
yeah.
one race. I mean, it'd just be one race for these guys because then I think I get it shaken up again for next week where I would be like, probably have 4 spots I would need to fill. Maybe
Yeah,
I
this
will
race
take
probably more than ever.
maybe
Foster.
I'll maybe take you up on that Foster one for one race.
Yeah, I mean, if RLL is going to have a good race at any point this year, you would think it's
That's
going to
the
be
one.
Indy Road Course.
So let's see how this looks. I kind of like it. I dig it. VK, I'm paying a premium for you, buddy. Don't let me down. And so I got Pillow, Lundgaard, Herta still for one more race. VK for one race. See, actually, all of them are for one race except for it would be Pillow. For yeah, I think I like the idea of 3 races so I can kind of mix things up. I like it. I mean, I got to make up room. Where am I at now? So I'm at 54th position. I think we got what 120 people in this thing.
I'm sitting in 40th now. Yeah,
We got 100. We got exactly 100.
100. I'm showing 156.
Oh, is there? Oh, maybe there's more. 156. Yeah. So, yeah, I got a lot of room. I got to make up some room, man. My salary is doing fine. Okay, I would say. Damn, the guy that was in 55th place, he made up 6.6 million last week. Nice work.
Yeah.
Nice work. Yeah, so I just need to I need some big ones, man. I need some big ones. Snoozy Boozer sitting at the top. He got 2,700 points. He had Pillow, VK, Power, Ray Hall, Daly, and Pato. What a lineup. And he had Ray Hall as a star driver. Nice moves.
Snoozy Boozer. Shout out to you.
Yeah, no shit. Garrett's doing well too. He's not even an IndyCar guy. He just knows fantasy. He's
Yeah,
sitting at 7th. That's
we
why I
can't
hate
let
this
him do
game.
that.
That's why I hate
Yeah.
this game. Yeah, so shout out to Garrett for being in top 10, man. Good for you. Good for you. All right. Well, any last thoughts or anything that we should need to think about before going into this weekend?
No, I mean I've got nothing, but if anyone's at the IMS this month, feel free to reach out to me and can like I've said that I've got a beer in my cooler with your name on it. So anyone feel free to meet up.
Man, I'm telling you, Indy 500 is it's always been a bucket list of mine. I got to make this happen either next year or the year after. So put F1 capper on there on that beer and get it ready because I'm definitely doing it. Got to do
Yeah, I
it.
love that. I'll show you guys the best of Indy and the beautiful heavenly Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
Yeah, man. I might consider it for next year for sure. But one thing at a time. I've already just booked my trip to go to Budapest and I'm going to attend the F1 race there. So that's going to be
That's
fun.
sweet.
All right, man. Well, we'll see you on Friday. And again, get into the Discord. We're going to just be making plays left and right, I'm sure. So we'll wait till lines drop. Yeah.
Let's do it.
All righty.